Okay.
Hey everyone, Rob Dickinson here from Scott. Thank you for coming in onto my clinic for boots. This will be a simple one because there's basically two molds that we have available right now in boots. And the first one here is a classic. The particular boot that I have in front of me here is the women's version called a Celeste 3. So it's gone through its third rendition since we took over and bought all the Garmont molds. The men's version is called a Cosmos 3, but for all intents and purposes, the same mold. In fact, they are the same mold. So again, this is a boot that at the time Garmont had, and Scott bought all their molds, and they basically beefed the boot up in so many ways that it needed, quite frankly, that we're super comfortable with where we're at now with this boot. I think every dealer can feel confident. Well, I know every dealer can feel confident in both the Celeste 3 women's and the Cosmos 3 men's. So what I'm going to start off with here is materials in the boot. All of these Cosmos 3 and Celeste 3 boots are Grilamid material, which has greater rebound and memory, which is super important. They have greater skiability. It's a lightweight plastic with lots of durability. It's what most higher-end boots out there are made of. If you ever have to punch them, they punch really smoothly, hold the punch really well. Those are all really, really good things. So just speaking of the shell, this is called a convertible boot. It's a three-piece shell. So you have your tongue, you have your cuff, and then you have your lower. That's a convertible boot, as opposed to a traditional overlap, which you find mostly in alpine boots. Some of the things that are notable about this boot, and one of the reasons why it's so popular, is its fit. This boot has quite a high volume to it. In a 26.5, it's 103.5 in width, which again is amongst the widest forefoots out there in the marketplace. A high instep as well, so again, overall high volume. We have made this boot extremely light, but a great alpine boot as well as a backcountry boot. It's how do I put it? I call this boot a wolf in sheep's clothing. I've got lots of friends that are high-end skiing athletes from the past that ski in the Cosmos and or Celeste. They'll out-ski most people out there. They're world-class ski racers turned to backcountry skiers, and there's enough boot here for most of those people. These boots are 120 in flex, and in the Celeste it's 115. Cosmos it's 120. For most people that's enough. But these boots do ski extremely well for people that are skiing them in the alpine mold, or sorry, in the alpine situations. But for backcountry, incredibly capable as well. The boot has, just so you know, technical wise, they have 11.5 degrees of rotation. which is more than enough for anybody out there. So that's cuff rotation in the walk mode. And again, in the ski mode, when all buckled up, you've got what you need there. 2 years ago, I might add, we put a new walk mode in, and it's a very simple system that you've seen on some other brands out there that locks into place. You pull up on the lever. By the way, it's got a little spring in it here. When you grab the boots from your shelf, take a look at this. And the nice feature about that is that it locks it into place so that if something hits it inadvertently while you're alpine skiing, that it won't come knocked out and disengaged and go into the walk position, which can be a little bit scary. So you actually have to pull on here. There's a little spring retainer that brings the device back into place. In the 3 years, I think, now that we've had this, we've had no issues with it. So very reliable, very reliable system. By the way, this system, as well as all of the buckles on here, use Allen keys to replace them. So if people go out in the field for extended periods of time and they're concerned about having possible, or that they might have possible issues with buckles or walk modes, they can buy extras, take them with them, take their Allen key, and fix them out there in the field rather than them being riveted. The one thing that, if you don't know already or haven't noticed, is we've taken all cant modes out. We feel for the most part cant modes are fine for alpine boots, where they don't have a walking system in them. But as soon as you put a walking system in the boots, for the most part, they won't adjust and cant properly, and or they're very hard on, especially our old walk mode systems. So again, we felt there's no need for this in the boot. So we took them out. We wanted to simplify, make things clean here. So when we built the boot too, and it particularly important with, I think anyway, with a backcountry skier that's shuffling, forward and back in the boot, their foot rotates, flattens out, rotates to the inside, and you have a bone on the inside of the foot called the navicular, and this is always creating pressure. Shouldn't say always, but oftentimes creating pressure on the medial part of the foot. Again, the boot has been pre-punched here. It's hard to see maybe, but take a look at that there, the navicular punch out, stock in all of these boots. Vibram soles, rockered sole on these boots as well. These boots, by the way, because they're rockered in the toe and whatnot, this doesn't work with a standard binding. It'll be a pin toe adjustable system that you have to work with here. These are ISO standard, but again, for height adjustable only. Toes, or a standard backcountry binding system, be it a G3, a Dynafit, or any of those lighter weight systems. Some things that we improved on in this boot from the past, which most of you whom have been working with these boots for a while have seen, is we increased the back of the boot. So if you get a hard charger and the boot for some reason doesn't stay in lock mode during alpine skiing, that they don't flex so far forward that the upper shell pulls over the bottom shell. So again, we modified the boot to have the high back so that doesn't happen. The boot boards are now more flexible. You'll see it's two-tone in there. We used a softer, more pliable material at the front so it doesn't break. They're all glued in there now. It supplies some insulation, the white foam that's in there. That's an addition. Notice that what I call ladders, these are ladders with bail retainers built into them. They're totally adjustable with, again, the Allen key. There's 4 positions, so if somebody has a large calf, whether it be the top buckle or the second from the top, they're completely adjustable, which is super nice. On the lower and upper buckles, you have micro adjustment in them too, so there's infinite adjustments in these buckles to keep the fit super nice on them. One thing that we've done, and I think we actually did it, and I'm telling you this in case you've had previous experience with the boots or you have people come in and comment that the bails spread open sometimes. We fixed that with offsetting the bail from one side to the other. Hard to see, but again, if you look at it on the boots in your inventory, you'll be able to see that we offset them. And again, that's to help reduce or totally eliminate any, these are called bails spread on them. So all of the buckles are more secure than they've ever been before. Also, just to note, these buckles are entirely removable at the side or the medial part of the foot with Allen keys as well. Everything's Loctited in there, so always good to carry Loctite with you. Getting back to the pins in the front of the boot, these are all Dynafit certified pins. So all of the boats will have, when they come into your shop, the Dynafit certified insert recognition through this little plastic piece on the front of them. Okay? Next is the liner on these Cosmos and Celeste boots. They're all thermal formable, and we use the same technology as any of the thermal formable boots out there, and so you can be assured that you're going to get a good fit. And I think most of you know all the precautions when you're fitting the thermal form boots in terms of temperature and so on. You can go online and see all the technical specs on time and everything, which will be on the Scott site. But all intents and purposes, I'll leave it at that for now. They're ventilated. We've reinforced the back end of them so it doesn't have any premature wear over that new insert that I described earlier. The nice thing of this boot too is that we've, when we stitched the bottom of the boot to the sides, we encapsulated the stitching with a rubber system that helps keep them water repellent, or probably waterproof down here, but I use that term loosely because if there's a ton of water in the boot, it can creep in at the sides. But let's put it this way, it's probably one of the most waterproof bottoms of any boot out there. The other thing you'll notice, it has a little softer pad design on them, which is twofold. It gives better grip in the boot when you're moving in the walk mode, but also some people will continue to wear these boots during the course of the evening if they're doing hut to hut, And not that you want to wear them a ton because you could wear this out, but this can be worn around a hut and give you more grip, especially if it's a little icy in the hut. So this is a nice little feature. Inside the boot, we have a reasonably good footbed that has some structure to it. You know, it's not high-end by any stretch, but for a stock footbed, it gives some structure, which is nice. The boots come with a lacing system in the secondary pack that you'll see zips through the loops here and then channels up through a device at the front of the tongue itself, which is made of plastic. It helps keep the tongue centered in the boot, has a ridge here in the middle to help keep it centered so it doesn't twist to one side or the other. And the laces actually feed up through 2 holes in here, and then it's got a draw system, simply pulls up and down with a jam cleat and simply loosens off when you want to loosen them. So a great boot, lightweight as well, and again, thermal formable. The power strap has a paper clip end on it that actually has some stretch to it. So if you're not loosening the strap off, and by the way, you just simply guide the power strap through the first channel here, slide it through, and then around to the front of the boot. This will afford some elasticity here. And so again, don't thread through the back one, thread only through the front one, and it allows some elasticity. But if you need more, then you'll have to loosen the power strap off. Okay? The other thing that you're going to find is on the men's version of the boot, there will be a spoiler in the back here. And we've taken it out of the women's simply because a woman's calf is usually lower, or it is lower, than a men's. They need more diameter down here than men do. And if a woman wants that wedge in there, they can be gotten. Don't think there's any need there for it, but they can be gotten. So, again, you'll notice it in the men's, not in the women's. So, women's shell sizes in terms of width are the same as men's. They're completely identical, but we put a thicker liner in the women's to make the boot narrower, comparatively speaking. Other thing is we changed the shell size on the full size. So say 24 and 24.5, for instance, will be the same shell. It's just that the smaller boot will have, again, a little bit more foam in it than will the 24.5, say. So again, in general, the ladies' boot will have more foam in the liner than men's, but it'll change again on the full size as far as shell size goes, and again, the liner just changes. One of the lightest boots on the market, and I've got a cheat here, is a 26.5 is only, or sorry, a 24.5 in the women's is only 1,205 grams total with the liner in there, and the men's 26.5 is 1,425 grams. So extremely lightweight boots. I think that's about it. And I lied about the ladies, 110 flats, men's 115, but still more than enough. $850 full pop retail for men's and ladies. You can go up in men's to the next step, which not many people bought. It's called a Super Guide. It's 125 flex. It has carbon inlays in the medial and lateral side to help obtain that stiffer flex. And then the upper buckle is a little bit different than what we have on the Cosmos and the Celeste, in that you can just simply flip the buckle open and it goes into walk mode without having to adjust the Velcro strap here. Okay, so that's the Cosmos and the Celeste boot. Next boot, and it's a new boot this year, it's called a Free Guide Carbon. Again, carbon inlays lateral and medial. This too is a convertible shell. This boot is a narrower lasted boot. I think we're running at, I just have to cheat here, it's 101 in a 26.5, and flex is 130 on these. Walk mode is a little bit different, but again, very simple, very clean, but working on the same sort of principle as the one on the Cosmos and the Celeste, but it's all tucked away internally. Navicular again is punched out on this boot. Two-piece tongue on here just allows for easier opening and closing. This boot here, one of the differences in buckle system on this is that we're using a super wide bail with a single latch system over the foot. It encompasses enough real estate, I'm going to say, to give you a real great fit in here. Bail retainer on the lower buckle, and then we've done a little bit different system on this upper buckle that's similar to what I started to allude to in the Super Guide, is that the power strap can stay secured for the most part and just be adjusted tightly by virtue of the top buckle, and just simply flip over, stay intact, and go into an easy walk mode. So again, easy to transition from walk to ski mode in terms of that upper power strap. One of the cool things about this boot, and a lot of professionals really like this. Again, this is a true touring boot that for the most part requires a pin standard touring binding. Very important, but this boot is not unlike a hiking boot where you have what we call a brake in it. So if you're hiking around, be it whatever, in the back country, steep snow, ice areas, sharp entry level to the heel piece, deep gives you more security, especially going downhill. But the other thing about this boot is the aggressive pattern, and these are self-flushing as well, just like radial tires on a car. But the real cool thing is, if you wear this sole out, there's screws abound at the heel and the front. You can undo these screws, replace the sole if it wears out. So professionals, be it ski patrollers, or just people that are on the slope all the time, working on the slope, or just hardcore users, they want to keep their boot but their sole is shot. In most cases, they have to throw the boot out. Here, not. You can simply replace the sole. And for those people that have encountered this, they will be extremely happy to be able to buy a sole that is around $50 to $70 and just pop it in there, as opposed to throwing the whole boot away. So that's a real bonus. We're the only company in the market that I know of that's doing that. So a big plus. So this boot can be for a hard charger, but also somebody that wants something super light. And again, I've got a cheat, 1,455 grams for a 26.5 and a 130 flex and a 101 forefoot, slightly less volume over the instep than the men's Cosmos. Again, thermal formable liner. We're using the BOA system here, which people love. You don't have to worry about laces. All you have to do is push on it, dial it in to tighten it up for your ski mode. And if you're going into a walk mode and you want a little more relief at the front, you just pop this out and you can lock it into place no matter, you know, where. If you just want a little bit and then lock it in place. Again, it's not in a big exposed area, and these work wonders. We've been working with BOA on our other footwear lines, specifically bike, and they've more than worked for us without incident. So we're super happy to have them on this boot, and we'll it'll just help you have more fun in the boot. So as usual with all Scott products, we have a 1-year manufacturer warranty against defects. Feel that's enough if anything's going to happen. Parts for all of these boots are in stock now, so if you ever need some, you can get a hold of me. One last thing, again, just to reinforce, is the rubber gripper bottoms that we have on the free guide here, and all the tests that we've had on these boots, which were plentiful, came back with 2 thumbs up. So skiability and backcountry ability is phenomenal. Again, these boots have 60 degrees of rotation. I have to look at this, and forward lean and free for walking of 15 degrees. So, you know, there's plenty there. Okay, so thanks very much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me, or you can go to the Scott website, www.scott-sports.com. Go up to the top, click on English, go into Canada. You should find all the information you need on the technical aspects if you're needing more and you can't get a hold of me. Again, thanks very much. Have a great season and all the best.
Oh, smokes, that was the one.